Hey everyone, what's up? Paddy here. Today I'm actually in Sichuan hiking these mountains. Behind me is a mountain called Drowsy. The altitude right now is 4,400 meters, so we're pretty high up. And this hike, I'm finding it a little bit hard to breathe, to be honest. Not a whole lot of oxygen up here, hard to talk, and a little bit of a headache. But whilst hiking, it got me thinking, if it's polluted outside, you know, and there's PM 2.5 or there's a whole load of dust or something outside, and I close my windows, will I actually starve of oxygen? Will I be facing a situation just like I am, out of breath, headaches, or maybe even something more severe than that, fainting or anything? Today in this video, I will go ahead and answer that for everyone. Although hopefully you'll all give me a little bit of time to get back to base camp and to collect my thoughts, and then I'll give you the answer. All right, I'm down at base camp at a bit safer altitude here. I can feel myself breathing much more comfortably. And let's now talk oxygen in numbers and percentages. So if we're down at sea level, breathing normal air, it's roughly 21%, 20.9 to be exact. And just then I was up at 4,400 meters, and up at that altitude, there was roughly only 12% effective oxygen in the air. So that's almost half what we get at sea level, and that explains why I was finding it hard to breathe, finding it difficult to talk, and also had a bit of a headache. Now, how does that compare with when we lock ourselves in a room, close the windows, close the doors? What kind of oxygen levels are we breathing there and then? Well, to answer that question, let's jump into the Smart Air office, where we've been measuring oxygen levels with multiple people in the room to see just what percentage of oxygen is in the room, even with all the windows and all the doors closed. Here we are for the third part of the video. I'm now back in Beijing. I'm in the Smart Air office here, and must say I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Had a shave, a lot more oxygen down here. Over the past few days, we've been testing in our office, and we've been trying to pack people into our fairly small office here, and we've been testing over the course of a working day. If we close all the windows and all the doors, how does it affect the oxygen level? And we can see that at the start of the test, when everyone was in the office, just gone 10 a.m., the oxygen levels indoors were 20.8%. Now, that's not exactly the same as the 20.9% I mentioned earlier. That's because here in Beijing, we're slightly above sea level, so 20.8% is pretty much the effective oxygen level we're breathing. Now, here's for the big reveal. Over the course of the 8 hours at work, we only lost 0.3% of oxygen in that room. So we dropped down to a level of 20.5. Now that's a pretty small change. In terms of altitude, how high would that be, or what would that mean in an altitude change? Is only around 190 meters. So spending the whole day in this office, the change in oxygen is the equivalent of actually just walking up a 20 to 30 story building. Here's the CCTV tower in Beijing. It's the equivalent of essentially walking up to the top of that in oxygen levels. So it's definitely not the drop in oxygen levels that's having an effect on our health. And we are not going to get sick or die from low levels of oxygen with people in the room. Now, why is that? You know, you might be asking. It turns out we actually don't breathe that much oxygen. As human beings, we really don't need that much oxygen. And the oxygen levels we breathe in and breathe out are pretty much exactly the same. So it's a common misconception that we use a lot of oxygen when we breathe, but truth is we don't. But again, some of you might be wondering, well, I still think there must be something going on, right? In the afternoons, if I'm in a confined space, maybe it's my office, maybe it's my school classroom, I might get a bit of a headache, I might be feeling drowsy. Then what is it that's making me feel that way? I have the answer, and I will reveal it in our next video, which will come very shortly. If you think you know the answer, please leave a message in the comments below. That's it for me, and we'll catch you in the next video where we'll tell you how you can actually make sure you can avoid these drowsy, headachy afternoons you might get. Hey guys, Paddy again. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell notification below to make sure you get the latest news and stay up to date on the best ways to protect your health, your body from everything we breathe.